moment while I go live on Facebook. It'll take just 1 second. Hope everybody's doing well. We'll be getting started in just a second here. And I think we should be live on Facebook. What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's video. I'm Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. We're gonna be going over the market, which is today is gonna be different than the last few weeks because the market is starting to break down. We're gonna be going over some swing ideas for next week, but as always, before we start, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. Also, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description below the video. But without further ado, let's turn to the charts and get started. If you find benefit in today's video and you'd like to help support the T3 Live channel, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. Market starting to break down. Last week, last Sunday when I did this same video, I said, these are the exact words that I said, that we would have to take out Friday's, not this last Friday, the Friday before. We'd have to take out that Friday's high before I get bullish. And we never did. We stayed actually at the lows. And on this last Friday, we broke down. Okay. And the reason why I turned to bearish, even though we were at the rising 20 on the daily chart, the Qs was more so at the rising, nice 45-degree rising 20 MA. I'm never bearish, almost never bearish when the market is at the rising 20, but because of that hourly chart, that nice, really nice rounding top on the hourly chart and the breakdown. So I said we would have to negate that Friday's high before I turned bullish. We never did. We attempted to couple times, and then on this last Friday we broke down, and now the market is looking bearish, and I think we will see 360 retested here, or tested for the first time on the Qs. The SPY actually has less room, even though it's weaker, has less room because it's already dropped a good amount. The next support area on the SPY daily chart is 436.12. Okay, so that area should be tested this week. Now below that, and we will be breaking the daily uptrend, or at least challenging the daily uptrend. So, but that's the first area to look for, 436, about 436 on the SPY, and below that, as I said, and then we'll be breaking that long-term uptrend on the daily chart of the SPY and the Qs. And then the next support area would be about it's about 422, 423, that area basically. And who knows, but we do have an incredible weekly uptrend that's been in place for the last 6 months. I mean, for the last year almost. Really tight uptrend. What I'm saying I think is going to happen is we will test the rising 20 on the weekly, and then if we start to break under it, then the next support area would be about 422, but that would be bearish for the daily chart. And the market has not felt the same. That's what I've been saying in the room. The market has not felt the same since it topped out. We had a minor base breakout right here. Every rounding top, and the SPY had just as pretty of a rounding top. I shorted the Qs. I talked about that in last week's video. I shorted 1,000 shares of the Qs. But the SPY actually had just as pretty of a rounding top as the Qs did. Every rounding top has a breakout failure in it. And that's basically the breakout failure. It was minor, but it resulted into that nice arch. That's not nice rounding top on the hourly chart of the SPY, which led to the breakdown. Okay, the IWM is a different story. The IWM, actually the SPY and the Qs, I think ended the day down more than 1% on Friday. The IWM actually ended the day up a little bit. So the IWM is diverged from the SPY and the Qs for a long time, and it looks like it's going to continue to do so. We'll see. But that was nice on Friday because a lot of the little stocks that I like to play actually were were bullish and popping as the SPY and the Qs dropped. For this week, we have an incredibly good watch list. The only problem with it, which is a big problem, is the market. A lot of these names, they're small cap stocks. They will follow the IWM, and the IWM, as I showed you, stayed bullish on Friday. So if it stays bullish this week, those names will do well. But I have a really good watch list. That watch list, so you wouldn't have to type it up, for your convenience, was copied and pasted into the description of the video, below the video, and it's into the description. Bullish and bearish. We'll go over it right now. There's some names that I'll probably skip because they're in the same sector, like the Argentinian stocks, BMA, CPEU. There's a bunch of them on the list. SUPV, TGS. Those are 4 names from the same sector. There's I already am in the CEPU. It's also a newsletter play. But you know, so these are all Argentinian stocks that look higher on the longer term charts, on the monthly namely. So okay, my favorite of the 4 is the CEPU, and I already have a position in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually take these off the list because it's a very, very long list to go over in this video, and I know some of you liked the video to be short. Okay, so we'll start with the A-bus here. A-bus looks higher, especially if you look at the hourly chart. If you look at the hourly chart, we have a nice base breakout. Now, I like it long over 442, stop under 406, and target on this, I think 550 is totally reasonable. Basically that topping tail somewhere there. Maybe target 1 could be 489, and then, but I think it will reach 550 if this buy setup triggers and works. Now, a lot of these will not even trigger. Like, let's say the market opens down tomorrow, a lot of these might gap down. Then no harm, no foul. I only get into the plays if they actually reach that entry point. Now, the entry prices and the plays that I pick, I'm not going to play every single item on the list. It'd be hard to manage that many items. So I pick what I think is the best, and what I think is mostly on its own page, independent from the market. And the ones that I pick, I don't reveal in these videos because obviously I do that for the subscribers. And if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, the newsletter has already been completed, you can log on to your T3 Live account and you'll see which ones I've picked for my own account and for the newsletter. Now, if you'd rather wait until the newsletter is delivered to you via email, then it should hit your inbox by about 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, okay? Giving you a couple of hours to put in the orders if you want to participate. Okay, so A-bus we talked about, looks beautiful. ADMP is another little stock that should go with the IWM, okay? ADMA is like the Argentinian stocks. I like it a lot on the larger time frame as a breakout. And there's 2 entries for it. One would be over 113, okay? Right here, stop just under 102, I think. Let me just double check. 104. So over 113 by 103, basically. Another entry would be to wait for it to actually pop and give you like a 1, 2, 3. So, you know, let it go, and then another 1, 2, 3, because even if it takes out 113, there's plenty of resistance areas to the left. So that's the only issue. So you know, one could either pass or play with small size and look for a secondary sign of strength. Another entry, basically. Apples or APLS is a base breakout on the hourly chart, as you can see. So I like it over 35.20, I think is the number for it. And then stop is under the base, and then target literally has room to $50, okay? But I would say a target 43.50 or so, 43.50. AXSM triggered on Friday, but it's not too late at all. It barely triggered. I like it higher over 29.80 if it takes out 29.80. The problem with the AXSM, there's one little problem. Where do you put your stop? What's the most proper place to place the stop? Well, you could place it under 27.60, and that would be a tight stop, or the wider, more secure stop would be under 25.80. Okay, so that's the issue, is that, you know, if we use the tighter stop, it's not very secure. If we use the pivot, this is called the pivot, then it's very, very secure. But it makes for a big stop. The bigger the stop, the smaller the share size, and the lower the reward to risk. Okay, so that's the AXSM. It's got one little problem. CALX, it triggered on Friday. Actually, I wasn't aware of it until this weekend, and until I scanned this weekend. So I didn't get it, luckily, because after it broke out, turned into a topping tail bar. So now I really, really like it as a long-term play. It's been basing for a long, long time on the weekly chart. Look at that weekly chart. Gorgeous. But it needs to clear that bearish sign that it put in on Friday. It needs to clear that topping tail. Okay, so I like it only if it takes out 51.27. Okay, on the CALX as a long-term play. CCXI also triggered on Friday, but just at the end of the day, so it's not late at all, over 16.75. Stop under 15.15, and then target, I mean, you tell me. A lot of room to go. That's the first resistance area. Overlapping candles represent supply. So, you know, about 20, beginning, you know, 24.60 all the way to 29. So that's the first area of resistance. Second area would be the 200 MA, about 37 bucks or so. Okay, on the CCXI, a lot of room. CDZI is a climactic buy setup at support also on the daily chart. So if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see that it's at support. What I like about this is the hourly chart. It already is breaking that trend. So I just like it over 903. Stop under the daily lows. I don't know what the exact low is. 844. So over 903, 844. Target about 11 bucks on the CDZI. COUP is not my favorite, but it's got a daily pullback, daily buy setup. Okay, so long over 248.20, stop under 238.80, about a $10 stop, $9 stop. Target one would be about 270, and target two I would hold long term. That's how I would do it, long term. ENDP also not a favorite, but it's got a nice hourly, daily base breakout. So it just needs to take out this bar's high, which is what, 292. Stop under the base. And then target one would be the prior topping tail, the top of that topping tail, and target two, I'm not quite sure, maybe around 4 bucks. You see those overlapping candles right here? So that would be resistance as well. Okay. Next on the list is HGEN. Like it a lot if it can take out 6.94, say $7. If it can take out $7, I remember playing it on this day, and it did very well. Playing it long, and so I like it over about, let's say, $7, and target about 12. That 20 MA on the daily chart, that blue line, and then the stop is 5.99 under the daily lows. The ICLR is got a 1, 2, 3, so long over 271.51, stop under 265.37, all-time high, no resistance to the left, so there's no way for me to predetermine the target. Okay, so one would have to just manage it. IRTC, I only found this also because I scanned extensively this weekend. I looked at 4,000 charts, I think. It was crazy. I spent a lot of time scanning, but I did so because I knew the market is changing, and I wanted to make sure I have all the interesting shorts. And while scanning for the shorts, I found a lot of interesting longs too. So this way, if I'm wrong about the market, guess what? The longs will do really well. At any rate, I like the IRTC over about 67 bucks. Stop under $60. Under $60. So it's a big stop. 60.37. But it has room to like 100 bucks. I mean, it has a lot of room. Okay, I would say target 194, maybe target 2. The gap fill over here around 100. Actually, it's a lot more than 100. 125. So that would be maybe target 1, target 2, 125. But what's gonna happen is, if the market really collapses, if this ends up being a long-term top, there's no way to know because it was a casual top. It's not like we accelerated, went climactic. No, we didn't. We just put in that rounding top and rolled over. So there's no way to know whether this is going to be a short-term top or a long-term top. If this ends up being a longer-term top, then these, like something like IRTC, okay, might pop and do well for a few days, a couple weeks, but it will not get to 125. Okay, so a lot of these bullish stocks will move up a little bit, and then if the market continues to really fall hard, then obviously they'll follow the market. The KAVL, not a favorite for sure, but it had a secondary offering, big gap down, and now it has a tight base. So over the base, which is 287, stop under the base. I don't remember what the stop was. It would be under 230. Okay, and target the gap fill, which is 445. Okay, the low of that bar basically is the gap fill. A LULU is a weekly 123. So you see that 123 on the weekly chart. So long over 434.22, stop, no, 434.22, stop under 414, and then no target on it because it's at all-time high. The same with the MDB. I didn't need to go back to the daily chart. If I stay on the weekly, if I stayed on the weekly, you'd see that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 1 being the igniting bar, bars 2 and 3 are the narrow range inside bars, and then if we have another bar, a breakout bar this week, then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and if we take out the highs, it'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Long over 515, stop under 466, same as LULU, no targets since it's at all-time high. The casino stocks are kind of interesting. The MLCO and the LVS also, check it out. MLCO and LVS both look higher. I don't have the LVS on the list. I don't think I do. They both look higher on the hourly chart, but MLCO is a smaller stop. So over the base, okay, stop under it. You can say over 1040, stop under 978 and target about $12 on the MLCO. And the win, the WYNN, looks lower. Look at the hourly chart, look at the daily, and look at the hourly under the declining 20. So MLCO and LVS look higher, win looks lower. We will find out which one or ones win, and then try to play them in that direction. So if they gap down, it means I would bet on the win, shorting the win. If they gap up, then I would go with the MLCO or the LVS. I wouldn't play win long. I'd either play MLCO or LVS long if they gap up. If they open down or show weakness on Monday tomorrow, then I would just focus on the win short. Okay. Netflix, I told you about it last week as a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart, and how, oh no, that was 2 weeks ago. So there's the 1, 2, 3 broke out. It's a long-term play, but if the market collapses, it will probably fail too. It has now a daily buy setup. If you didn't get it already, which the 1, 2, 3 was here, okay, on the weekly chart. So it has another, it's about $20 late now, but it's not too bad. Over 590.50, stop under 575.37 on the Netflix. And by the way, Tesla looks really good. I mean, it's holding up. It looks really good on the monthly. It's gonna retest the all-time high soon, unless the market collapses. But it's looking really good. Netflix, because being that it's an expensive stock, reminded me of the Tesla. But I'm not talking about Tesla in this video because I already talked about it in the prior videos. Already have it as a position in the newsletter, so no reason to spend more time on it. OCUP has a 1, 2, 3 long over 525. The stop on it, I would give it minimum 474 instead of this bar's low, and then target about $6, maybe 625. Okay, on the OCUP. OPGN is like the ADMP on the monthly chart, is a long-term, and like the Argentinian stocks, is a long-term monthly breakout. Look at this PRTA, which we played at $15. Can you believe it? I just came across it, I think on Friday, and I saw that it was at $77. I was like, holy cow, I wish I just never exited. Played it at 15. Long, it's the same exact pattern, that transition. GSM or GMS or something. GSM, same exact pattern. See that? And we played it too, but ended up getting out early because it ended up going. We played it on the breakout right here, so about $2, let's just say. Ended up going to $11.25, and it topped out. The PRTA, I don't think it's topped out yet. PRTA is still bullish. I played it 2 or 3 times. A PRTA at 15, and in one day I was up $8,000 on 1,000 shares because it went up like 40% in one day over here. That's the monthly chart. And then I played it again over here and got out in the 50s, 54, 56, something like this. And then just on Friday, I noticed it was at 77. Holy cow. So the OPGN is similar on the monthly chart. It has that monthly base breakout. On the daily, it has a buy setup. So I like it over 326 long, stop under 289. Okay, stop under 289. PLTR, I talked about it in last week's video as a wonderful weekly chart. It triggered already. It's an open position in the newsletter, but it still has a 1, 2, 3 if you want. Kind of a 1, 2, 3 over 29.30, stop under 28. Okay, but the trigger for the newsletter was over the SPARS high, so it's a little bit late here. You'd be buying it about $2 late. The SRAX base breakout, okay, similar to the PRTA. It's not on the list. I mean, I only share with you a portion, like a small portion of my list, and I'm going over like 20, but I have over 50, okay, so that I'm going to be watching tomorrow. VIR is similar to the PRTA on the weekly. So it just barely triggered on Friday, so it's not too late also. I like it higher, similar to the PLTR. SRAX is a daily base breakout, so I like it over 585. Stop, I would say 525, and target about $7, okay, on the SRAX. VEON, which we played when it gapped up and popped, day traded, it's been basing at the highs. Wow, that is bullish. So I like it over 227, I think. Yeah, 227. Stop under 208 as a daily base breakout, weekly base breakout, and target should be about 278 or so, the prior high on the weekly chart. That's the VEON. VERU, not a favorite, but has a daily buy setup. This was a red bar that turned into a big bottoming tail bar, so that's bullish. But what I don't like about it is the pullback is not clean. You know, you can see the green bar ignored. Well, that's buyers that went long, that bought the stock, and now they're trapped. When it dropped, now they're holding a losing position. So when it goes back up, they might look to sell. If they sell, it might cause that buy setup, that pattern to fail. But it still is interesting over $9 long, stop under 850. And then last but not least is the WOOF. So WOOF has a base breakout here over $23 long. Stop is kind of a big stop under 21.72 and target $28 on the WOOF. Okay, like it. The shorts, let's take a look at the bearish list. So I found more interesting longs than I did shorts, even though I did that extensive scanning that I told you about 4,000 charts, if not more, this weekend, because I was looking for shorts and I found more longs than I did shorts. But CVRX is a 1, 2, 3, 4 on the daily chart. So I like it under 1486 short. Stop over 1670, 1650 that is. 1650 all-time low. No, I don't know what the target is, so you'd have to manage it. Notice the breakout failure right here. Breakout, came back in, based under the 20. So this one should have been shorted like right about here. I'm not sure I was aware of it or that I knew that I saw that, but that's when it should have been shorted this day. Okay, under the daily base, but it still has another entry. SPTX is got another 1, 2, 3 also. So short under this bar's low, under $12, stop over 1350. All-time low, no, so wouldn't know what the target is. Same exact thing. It had a breakout failure in the base, based under the 20, and then broke down. Now has a 1, 2, 3. Actually, SBTX reminds me of Starbucks. Starbucks is not on the list because I'm not gonna do it, but it looks decent as a short. Why am I not doing the Starbucks? Because I stay away from shorting the name brands for the most part as much as possible, because they don't fall apart. Name brands, the big names, the big companies, they didn't become big and strong and really bullish over time and done well for their investors by being stupid. So they don't fall apart. And so that's why I stay away from shorting them for the most part. But actually, if you look at the hourly chart of Starbucks, that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Under the base, short, stop above it. And even Goog looks pretty good short. If you look at Goog weekly chart, not the daily so much, but look at the Goog weekly. That looks like it's gonna have a nice drop to the 20 over here. So let's say about $2,600 or so. That gives you $230 to work with. That's a decent amount of room. So Starbucks looks good. Goog looks lower. but you don't even see them on my list because I'm not, I'm not shorting them. TCBI had a really powerful gap down that didn't go anywhere because it was a support, but eventually broke down, and now has a beautiful base breakdown. So check it out. I like it lower, all the way down to like 40, who knows, even 30 wouldn't be out of the question. But for now, I like it under this bar's low. Could put the stop above it, but what happened here, it's not that I didn't try to short it, I did. But because this stock is a little on the thin side, I think, yeah, about under a million shares per day, it, stopped me out on this bar. So I put the stop up here, stopped me out on this bar, so I lost on it. And it continued lower, of course. So now, if I'm gonna redo it, I don't want to put my stop above this bar's high. I want to put it above the base. So safer, okay, safer, but bigger stop. So entry for this would be under 55.90. Stop would be over 58.60 or so, okay? And then target, I don't know, 40, 30, has a lot of room. VER is starting to break down. Not what I normally do. I like to do the stocks that are in a downtrend, like all out downtrend already. If you look, they're all out downtrend. This thing is just starting to roll over on the data chart. And so I don't normally do this, but I like the weakness in it, on it, and then I like the hour is okay. So under the base, stop above it, and target maybe about $45 or so, okay, on the VER. Not a favorite either. And then the rest of this list I separated from the top, the first four, is because it's all gold and metals, I think, like AU, mostly gold miners, looking bearish. All the metals, gold, copper, steel, they're all got really weak the last couple of days, Thursday, and then look lower. They have 1, 2, 3 setups. So the entry would be on the AUY under 399, stop over 409. So that's only a 10-cent stop. That's pretty tight. Target, let's open it up. And to tell you the truth, AUY has room to, I'm not saying it's gonna get there, has room to like $3. It could collapse. BTG, similar, has a lot of room to $2 on gold. CDE has room to here, to 450 or so. Has a 1, 2, 3. So the entry for a 1, 2, 3 is under the lower of bars 1 or 2. So under 610, stop over 631. So they almost all look the same. Almost all look the same. I wouldn't short every gold stock out there, but I like a couple of them, which I picked for my own account and for the newsletter as well. MGA, I'm not sure if that's gold or not, but I'm sure it's a metal. So it looks good too. Under 75 by 76.30. And you have to zoom out to know what the target is. There's support at 70, and there's more support at 60, around 60. NEM, obviously a gold miner, 1, 2, 3, and then WPM, another one, 1, 2, 3. So the gold does not look good at all, especially the miners. All right, I knew this was gonna be a long video, but I hope I'm not wasting your time. I hope you found benefit in today's video and in the videos that I do only once a week. And if you'd like to subscribe or check me out for a month, it only costs $49. Link for that is in the description. If you have any questions for us, reach out to info@t3live.com. Email us at info@t3live.com. But again, hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a good rest of the day today, and I'll see you on the VTF tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody. Ciao.